Good morning, everyone. Can someone confirm, am I audible to everyone or not?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. So, very good morning to all of you. We are delighted to have you here in this online invited talk on effective implementation of NEP 2020. You may be joining from your office or from hostels overseas. So, we are so glad that you have become the part of this talk. The session today will provide valuable insight into the vision, strategies, and best practices for effectively implementing the National Education Policy 2020 in higher education institutes. So, today we have a very fantastic speaker, a professor with a vast industrial experience who is now helping organizations and institutions to develop. It is my privilege to introduce our esteemed speaker, Dr. Manu Vora. Talking about his achievements, Dr. Vora is the chairman and president of Business Excellence at United States of America, which is a global quality management firm with over 50 years of leadership experience in guiding Fortune 500 companies. He is also an adjunct faculty at schools of professional studies, Northwestern University, USA. He is a visiting faculty of numerous institutes, including IIT BHU. He has done his BTech in Chemical Engineering from IIT BHU, Masters and PhD in Chemical Engineering from Illinois Institute of Technology, Chicago. Along with that, he has earned an MBA in Marketing Management from Keller's Graduate School of Management. Dr. Vora has delivered over 1,400 presentations and seminars worldwide, published more than 75 research papers, and contributed to the development of numerous educational institutes across 36 countries. He has authored over 50 blogs on quality management and delivered two TEDx talks at IIT BHU and IIT Chicago. Dr. Vora is the recipient of numerous prestigious awards, including Distinguished Alumnus Award from IIT BHU, listing in Jewels of India. He has also been honored with the US President Volunteer Service Award. In addition to to his professional accomplishments, Dr. Vora is the founding director and president of the Blind Foundation of India, which has raised over more than 7 million to support visually impaired individuals across the country. So participants are requested, if you have any query, you are requested to submit your queries in the chat box. There is a scheduled break during the talk in which Dr. Vora will address the query. So on behalf of Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya, I would like to welcome Dr. Vora for today's talk. So over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kumar, for a very kind introduction. Welcome to all the guests. My friend, Professor Noor, has joined from Malaysia. So welcome, Professor Noor, Professor Jain from Nirma University in Ahmedabad, and other distinguished faculty and friends who have joined.
Thank
And
you,
I
sir.
believe,
Welcome, sir.
yes, thank you. And Jankana from Mumbai has joined from American Society for Quality Group. So welcome to all of you. I'm very thankful to Dr. Kumar for the kind invitation to talk about specific item at the moment, very important for India and rest of the world. And the best part is if we all put our effort together with the 1.4 billion people putting their hands together to implement NEP 2020 effectively, India will become the Vishwaguru and we will have Vikshit Bharat by 2047. I'm going to close the video for preserving the bandwidth and bring up the presentation at this time. And as Dr. Kumar mentioned, I'll have a few breakpoints at which time we will take any questions or comments, and we'll keep working through it and we'll manage the time as well. Okay, I hope the first slide is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful. So here is the quick roadmap. We'll begin with some of the challenges we are facing in the higher education arena at India stage. Then we'll dive into the national education policy and the good work done at AICTE for implementation. Major part of the presentation will focus on what are some of the challenges we see for effective implementation of NEP 2020 and a possible streamlined solution so that we can effectively have the implementation and get the benefits from the wonderful policy. We are out at 5 years. Do we know where we are? So we'll do some soul searching. And then towards the later part, I'll focus specifically on motivated, energized, and capable faculty through Atal FDP's program and some of the recommendations for the talk. And I would request take two key takeaways from this session, and I will request you to at least put one key takeaway in the chat box as we go forward. So what do we see here? The challenges, which is the current state in India, and the desired state is on the right side, current state is on the left side. Bottom line is we need to move to a new paradigm. Instead of memorizing and vomiting in the exam, we need to focus more on delivering concept as a faculty with the focus on application to all our students. So we talk about the current state. Learning methods are the rote learning and dry theories. Academic curricula are out of date, not synced in with the industry needs. And biggest issue I see is the lack of soft skills in the curricula. Quality of education, both at the system and curriculum level, there is a not much focus about quality. Faculty static knowledge and much lacking of industry experience, and industry participation is very sparse, and alumni engagement is practically missing from most of the institutes. So we need to move to the right side, inquiry-based learning and understanding the best-in-class practices. Academic curricula should be aligned with the needs of the industry, and soft skills should become the part of the curriculum. Instill quality both at the system and the curriculum level. Faculty needs to upgrade their knowledge constantly, and they should have some industry experience. At a minimum, they should be doing some projects, working with the industry people, taking the students to work on live projects and get the idea how industry works. Bring the industry people on the advisory boards and put your alumni on the pedestal. Now, on 29th of July 2020, National Education Policy was approved by the Central Cabinet. The biggest thing we need to focus about as a faculty is to engage our students in building their character by instilling in them the focus on ethics, honesty, and integrity, compassion for others, practice of nonviolence, practice of truth, respect for elderly, respect for the environment, and reverence for teachers. And best of all, instill the spirit of collaboration and cooperation rather than competition and cutting people down, and also encourage students in the community service. And I'll be focusing on a couple of new aspects. One is community service, second is the soft skill. Now, in terms of ethics, we have a lot of work to do for at the India scene. World Corruption Index 2024 listing of 180 countries. India ranks at 96, well below the average. World's most ethical companies, out of 136 globally, only 3 companies qualified from India. And World Human Development Index, last published 2022 data in 2024. We are at number 134 out of 193 nations. And one of the component is the level of education, median years of education, which makes up the Human Development Index. So as you see here, we have work to do to improve the ethics and improve the education. Now this knowledge, skills, and attitude triangle, the knowledge comes by going to college or university, schools, college, university, where the faculty imparts the right knowledge. The attitudes on the right side, it begins with the family, and then it continues through the peer interactions. There's a gap on the left side, the skills. Most of the curriculars are lacking those skills which are essential for succeeding in real life and become globally competitive individual in India. At this point, let's see, Dr. Kumar, are there any comments or questions before we dive into the implementation aspects, including AICTE work?
No, sir, there is no questions as of now.
Okay, so we'll continue, and once you see some questions, we'll break at another point.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So in 2020, last committee constituted by AICTE, which ran for 10 days, and it was an honor to work with 9 distinguished faculty representing different areas of India under the guidance of Professor Sanjay Dande from Maharashtra. And the entire committee's coordination was conducted by Colonel Venkat. He has moved on from AICTE. And it was a fantastic work. Since there was a time difference, I could not join online because they were meeting during afternoon, which was very early in the morning for me. But through emails, we kept up, and tremendous work was done by the committee. The committee focused on 9 different areas shown here, and I'm going to highlight motivated, energized, and capable faculty, which is part of teaching learning process improvement. And the metaphor is, if there is a water in the well, then water can be channeled into canals. So faculty is like the well. Once they are empowered, once they become fantastic and excellent in their craft, they will deliver the best education to their students. The work of the committee was divided into short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. 2021 first year, 4 years, 22 to 25, the midterm, and long-term last 10 years. And the policy needs to be fully implemented by 2035, according to the guidance given by Dr. K. Kasturirangan and his team. Work of the AICTE Implementation Plan Committee is published in the op-ed by skilloutlook.com. Link is shown here. You can go ahead and get the full details. I've shared my presentation with Dr. Kumar. He will be sharing it with all the attendees. Now let's begin the transformation effort, which is NEP implementation. So the transformation is akin to going to Mount Everest and coming back safely at the base camp, which will require tremendous amount of planning, preparation, and training. So the same metaphor applies to NEP 2020. It is nothing short of a transformation journey for a 15 years window, and it will require tremendous amount of planning, preparation, and training in order to implement it fully. And it's a giant project. And unfortunately, at India scene, we do not have the knowledge about project management across all the higher education institute as well as the risk management. So that's where there are some difficulty, and I'll be mentioning some of those as we go forward. So the change management can succeed, which sits on three pillars: the leadership, which provides the direction; talent management, this is where the people, the faculty, the staff, everyone pull together the change, work on the change, and you have to use the project management as a backbone to achieve the change. So all three are critical: leadership, talent management, and project management. Now, over the last 40 plus years of leading and managing change in various domains, I've come to a conclusion that the change management or the transformation is only successful when three C's are in concert, collaborating with each other. CEO in the education setting is the vice chancellor leading the change. CFO is the registrar managing the finance for the institute. What is missing is the CPO, Chief People's Officer. So more like a vice president of HR, which is a function very well done in the industry. A similar concept needs to be thought about at the education institutes, which can bring in the right talent. So each of the different department heads don't have to worry about bringing the best faculty. Chief People Officer can bring the right talent to lead the change. As I mentioned, I have a pleasure and honor of leading or coaching 16 change management journey in various domains shown here, 8 in corporate, 2 each in education, government, professional, and non-profit sectors. I've been following Baldrige Performance Excellence Framework since 1989, and honored to design and deliver project management and risk management courses globally since 2008. Now, this is one of the fundamental thing all vice chancellor and leaders at each of the institute, the directors or the principal, they should be asking these 5 questions at the beginning before they embark on an NEP implementation journey. Questions are simple but very thought-provoking. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this now? And how this is going to impact me and my organization. First 3 questions will give the leaders a quick gauge on organization's readiness for the change. And last 2 questions, how will we work together to make this happen, and what do I need to prepare myself? It allows the leaders to gauge organization's capability to drive the change. So most of the time, when the transformation journey starts, these questions are never asked. People are told we are going to do something. They have seen in the past it's a flavor of the month, flavor of the year. So they wait it out and wait for the next flavor of the month or the year coming in. Very critical to have these questions asked so that everybody is on the same page and they understand the upside and the downside. Upside, as I mentioned at the front, if we implement fully NEP 2020, we will become the Vishwa Guru and become the best in the world. Downside is if we don't change, don't make any implementation, world will pass by us and will be where we are today. One last thing in the concept point of view, we need to think about Dr. Deming's cycle. Some of you may be very well aware about Dr. Deming. He was, along with Dr. Juran, was sent by the US government to Japan to rebuild their industrial economy. And Dr. Deming gave us this cycle: plan, do, study, and act. So important thing to remember is we need 10% excellent planning. However, success comes when there is a focus of 90% on execution, with the flawless execution leading to success. Remember, planning without execution is futile, but execution without planning could be fatal. And a brief comment about India scene. A lot of time we don't focus on plan and ready to shoot and take action without planning. Things may work out sometimes by fluke, but unless you are focused on a plan, don't expect good results all the time. At this point, are there any questions, Dr. Kumar?
Yes, sir. We have one question from Aman Jaiswal, who is
Go
doing
ahead.
MBA from Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya. So his
Mhm.
question is, MBA students who
Mhm.
want to pursue a PhD often struggle with research exposure.
Yeah,
How will NEP 2020 help build research skills at the postgraduate management level?
yeah. Yeah, so as we all know, one of the weak area in India is the lack of research and lack of focus on research at the higher education institutes. And even during MBA, I remember very distinctly, I had a pleasure to do some basic research, applied research, using Baldrige Performance Excellence examples as a role models on designing certain aspects at the HR front, for example, recognition process, suggestion system, training and development process, etc. When we have to do the research, we can leverage the best practices from the best organizations. So the question is very pertinent. I think the focus should be, or faculty should be trained in doing the research, both basic and applied, working with in collaboration with the industry to do applied research. There should be promotion of those faculty which focuses on research. They train the students in the research methodology and put the seeds in their minds so that they are able to carry out wonderful research, bring some great publications, maybe get some patents, and bring some innovative ideas which can be useful in the industry as well. So this is where the entire ecosystem needs to be addressing the need for the research at the undergraduate, graduate, and postgraduate level. And I'll leave the comments at this point. I hope at least it begins to throw light on what needs to be done. Okay, moving on. Next set of 6 to 7 slides are the very critical ones, so let's pay attention. What are some of the key challenges I see by looking at the landscape at the ground level? One, to implement something of this nature, we need a sound structure. Secondly, we need to engage the alumni and the industry experts. Third, the strategic plan needs to be communicated with all the stakeholders. There is a issue of seamless transition from K through 12 school systems to HEIs. The uniform implementation approach is missing across HEIs. Unfortunately, we do not have a culture of sharing successes and failures. One need to have some change agents to bring the outside perspectives. And we need to do some few pilots to understand the landscape, what works, what doesn't work. Next two items, 9 and 10, the focus and the onus is on the leadership at the institute, the vice chancellor, the principal, the director, they should first understand what is sustainability and what is their roles. They have to lead from the front, not delegate it to somebody else. And they need to show their commitment, involvement, and support throughout the journey. As I mentioned upfront, project management is one of the three pillars of the success for a transformation. So the knowledge about project management, and project means something unknown. Risk is automatically part of project management. So these two disciplines needs to be cultivated, project management and risk management. And the biggest thing, both for the faculty and the student, is one, they should be proficient in soft skills. Because once they are proficient in soft skills, and we'll have a few slides coming up later on how do we cultivate the soft skills so that we can all do best in our work, working on the projects. So you see the challenges. Now here is a possible solution of streamlined project structure. So you begin with the council at the top, leader in charge, vice chancellor, director, or the principal. Appoint a champion, a faculty who has the experience and ability to get the results and interested in taking on the role of a champion. Create three major clusters aligning with the short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals created by the AICTE, and create any extra subclusters as needed. And on each of the cluster, include a trio of faculty, alum, and industry expert like Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Faculty is Brahma, creating knowledge, Vishnu, sustaining the knowledge, alumnus, and the industry expert like Mahadev, creating new knowledge through destruction and innovation. Now, vision, mission, and values for NEP 2020, part of the strategic plan has to be done at each HEIs. Communicate those strategic plan to all the stakeholders internally and externally. Provide relevant training, specifically project management and risk management to all the stakeholders, specifically department head and deans who will be involved in taking the implementation at the ground level. Then use the project management discipline by doing quarterly review of what the progress is, what's working, what's not working. Share the successes through the newsletter and internet, and hold all the stakeholders accountable for the good results for NEP 2020, and celebrate the success when you achieve something really good. So unless we understand what the challenges are, and we need to have a streamlined structure, we need a lot of prayers and good wishes, because results will not come unless there is a structure behind it, system behind it, with the right leaders leading the charge. Interestingly, in June 2025, Civil Society magazine out of New Delhi took my interview on effective implementation of NEP 2020, what challenges and solutions we can think of. The link is shown here. There are over 130 comments from educators and practitioners. Some of them are in the audience today, so I want to thank them for their kind comments. So about 2.5 years ago, I sent a note to our Honorable Minister of Education, Dharmendra Pradhan ji, that like NIRF, there should be a ranking of implementing NEP 2020 with 100 points broken down based on the challenges we saw: need for a council, strategic plan, relevant training, thirst areas, which will come up on the next slide, charter for a project, results for the key projects, project success sharing, and project celebration. And here are the 10 thrust area as proposed by the UGC. And as I mentioned, email was sent. Within a day, I get a response from the minister saying, I've received your email. And now, 2.5 years later, there is no action. There's no follow-up. They are too busy with many other things, so they don't seem to be getting the message. And this is one of the issue. People who have something to share, something to contribute, they should be encouraged with the proper response, and the right people should be involved in taking the suggestion forward. Now, this is one of the most critical slide. Where are we at 2020 at 5 years window? And this is where a Ministry of Education oversight is very much needed. So items are very simple. What has been done, what needs to be done for the next 10 years, and what's the action plan to address the open items for the coming 10 years. Approach, structured approach, right teams, strategic plan, communication of that plan, quarterly review of the progress, implementation practice metrics, communication of the progress done. Are you doing any celebration? So monitor the progress at 2020, 2025, the NEP policy implementation at 10 years and 15 years. If we continue the progress, it will become the foundation for the Viksit Bharat at 2047. This is the question each of the higher education institute leaders should be focusing on. What have we done? What needs to be done, and how can we do it effectively? Now, a comment looking at the landscape. There is not uniform progress throughout India. Certain states from the southern states have decided not to even implement NEP. So if this is a national education policy, it should apply to the entire India. All states must be addressing it and encouraging them at HEIs to implement the policy. We'll leave it at that without getting into the politics of it. So here comes another wrinkle. NEP at 2025, Ministry of Education replan. A lot of the items I'll be covering very shortly is about schools, education. Some items are applicable at the HEIs as well. So curriculum and structure mainly focuses on school education K through 12, multidisciplinary learning, mother tongue-based education, abolishing no detention policy, so no automatic promotion up to the grade 8. Learning and technology, vocational training focus, early childhood education, age 3 to 8, AI integration for personalized learning and performance analysis, digital learning, virtual classrooms. And under teacher and governance reforms, teacher training, expanded professional development programs. For example, AICT does number of FDPs throughout the year. Higher education merging UGC, AICT, and NCT into one entity for better oversight. And education funding. The original policy recommended 6% of the budget for the education. Here it is 10% at the central level, 20 to 25% at the state level. These are hefty goals. If you go state by state, you will see none of the states come close to the goals set here. So this is the real challenge. Unless you put the right resources and lead by the right people, things are not going to happen. At this point, just to summarize the focus about change, let's listen to a short YouTube. Nice way to recap what needs to be done to address the transformation or a change. Now we'll dive into the last part. So at this point, are there any further questions, Dr. Kumar?
Yes, sir, we have one question. Aman Jaiswal has asked that
Mhm.
MBA students who are interested in pursuing a PhD in abroad, if he wants to know whether NEP 2020 offers any financial support for Indian postgraduate students who is aiming for the doctoral degrees overseas. So if yes, then how can students access these opportunities?
Normally, when you go abroad for a PhD work, if you line up a right advisor and the right institute, you will be getting a scholarship to study. So the Indian government doesn't provide the scholarship in general, but the foreign university which will accept you as a candidate will provide you research funding for PhD and a postdoc work. You have to do due diligence of finding out what the options are by checking various websites of different universities, finding out a faculty in the area of your interest, and communicate with them. And I've seen number of students specifically from my alma mater IIT coming here to various universities like Northwestern, Carnegie Mellon, and different places, Rice University, etc., Georgia Tech. They do the basic research, find out where the opportunities are, and then they'll end up with a scholarship to study for PhD and a postdoc. So that will be my quick comment. Any other questions?
No, sir, no questions.
Okay, very good. We'll continue now and try to manage the time as well. Now we'll dive into the one aspect I had promised at the beginning. How do we improve teaching learning by creating motivated, energized, and capable faculty? So this is where innovative pedagogy and continuous assessment was made part of the AICTE Atal FDPs. So I'll describe some of that as we go forward here. So I'm proposing a faculty excellence model here, which I've been practicing in India since 2016. When I went there on a Gyan project, the project management course at IIT BHU, 2018 Fulbright Scholar Program at IIT BHU as well. And I've been teaching at a number of different institutes throughout India. So the model, as a short acronym CSIR, very familiar in India, is a faculty needs to be learning in a collaborative fashion under the scientific guidance of expert faculty, expert resource people by doing lots of introspection, reflection. So if you look at the current landscape, faculty attends the FDP, and this I'm talking about the AICTE Atal FDPs. People join during the pandemic online. They listen to the lectures, not much interaction. And at the end, they take the test, multiple choice questions. They get it right with 70% or 75% threshold, they get a certificate of completion. Otherwise, they just attend the event. They need to be working in collaboration and doing a lot more introspection and reflection and leverage the peer learning and class interaction. This is how we learn here in the Western world. I've been teaching as a adjunct faculty, School of Business here at the my alma mater, Illinois Institute of Tech, since 93, so around 32 years plus. When I joined the academia, I had 18 years industry experience, and what I observed was in industry, success came from teamwork. So I wanted to simulate that in my classes. So my classes are collaborative, experiential, and outcome-based. We have a small classes about 10 to 15, 17 students, generally in a graduate class. They work in a team, work on a live project, and they are required to be cooperating within the group, across the group. In experiential part, during the 10 to 16 week semester or a module, they will be reading 8 to 10 state-of-the-art article, and I teach generally business side. So Harvard Business Review, MIT Sloan Management Review, McKinsey Quarterly, etc. Best articles pertinent to the topics under coverage. And I'll share the methodology, how they read, and devise a summary of 2 pages. That's understanding the industry practices from different domains. And finally, the outcome based, that is impact and focus on implementation by doing a reflection journal. So I'll share that sample as well. So as a faculty and as a student, we read a lot of articles, but at the end of the day, we don't remember what the essence of each article was. So I require all my students for the last 32 years to read the article in a very specific way, individually within the group, and then a 2-page article summary in the group setting. Key principles and practices from the article for the entire group, 3 to 4 bullets. Middle part is most important. Application of principles and practices in their function, that is bridging the gap between theory and the practice. That carries 70% of the grade. And last item, key takeaways, 3 to 4 bullets for the entire group. What this does is it allows them to do a lot of introspection and reflection, and focuses on writing in a simple but succinct way what the nectar or the essence of the article was. And this will stay with them for the rest of their life. Reflection journal, I mentioned at the end of the semester, they fill out a 1 page. At the last session, 3 key learnings, outcomes from the program, 3 key lessons or the concept they will implement, and what's the implementation plan for the 3 key lessons. And very happy to share that for the 2022-23 cycle for the Atal FDPs, this article reading and the reflection journal, they were all made part of the Atal FDPs. So the guidance of Dr. Mamta Rani Banerjee, Mamta Rani Agarwal, who was leading this program, she understood the value of it, and it was incorporated as a part of the program for Atal FDPs. Interesting way to look at it is the average teacher will explain the complexity, but the gifted teacher will reveal the simplicity. So we as a faculty should focus on simplifying the complicated message and excite our students so that they can do much better with the knowledge we are sharing with them. I'm sure in Sanskrit there are many teachers mentioned. One is the Adhyapak, sharing the info. You become Upadhyaya when we add the knowledge to it. When you share the skills, you are Acharya. You get a designation of Pandit when you share the insight. You become Drishta when you share visionary thinking. At the end of the life cycle, when you begin to share the wisdom, you become the Guru. So faculties educate students by engaging, energizing, entertaining, use all different levers to engage them. Now, as I mentioned, since 1993, my goal is for my students to be involved in their own learning, and what they learn, they need to apply on a live project and share it within the group, across the group within the class. And a lot of focus on peer learning and class interactions. Here are the 12 keys for engaging students in the classroom. So assign a topic to research and share in the classroom by rotating the students. You as a faculty will share the importance and share the real world application of the topic for the students get excited. And you use a icebreaker topical question at the beginning, and rotate the students also. And at the end of the session, ask each one of them to have a key takeaway about the session. Item 6 to 9 came from Harvard Business Publishing. You can conduct short polls or voting, arrange role plays as appropriate, create small groups to discuss and come back and report to the whole class, form teams to work on the project and share the project findings, and bring the guest speakers for the broader perspective. Item 10, 11, 12 applies to all the faculty, that they need to be focusing on delivering basic concepts and principles, so there's no need for memorization. Allow curiosity and innovativeness to flourish in the classroom. Replenish your knowledge so you are at the cutting edge, giving the best to your students. And if we do that, you get a gold star. These items were woven in the Atal FDPs for 22-23 cycle, because unless you are engaging your students in the classroom, no matter how good you are, your knowledge is not going to be transmitted properly. So here is a recap. What's the ideal role of the faculty? They need to engage by forming small groups, excite the student by showing real-world applications, empower them by sharing relevant resources, and challenge them to find the real-life problem solution on themselves. Don't give out the solution. That's not the role of the faculty. Challenge them with the right resources. So for the last 32 years, I've been using this effective assessment, and these were also accepted as a method for continuous comprehensive assessment for Atal FDPs. Discussion board, individual 25% article case reading, summarizing, we discussed earlier, team project report and team project presentations, and a reflection journal. And I'm very happy to share that I do not focus on midterm or the end term exam. They go through item 1 through 5 for evaluation. And at India scene, we have been spending a lot of time on taking exams and exams and exams, which is doing not much good either to the students or for the faculty. It's a lot of time wasted, and it doesn't measure the intelligence or the knowledge of the students. It's the memorization power only. Whatever they have memorized, they are vomiting in the exams. Quick Tal Academy FDP's journey started in 2019, 2020, 190 offline, 2021 during pandemic online, close to 1,000 FDPs, 21, 22, 1,500 plus, 22, 23, they combine online and offline, 200 FDPs were chartered, 10,000 faculty learning in a collaborative, experiential, and outcome-based way, focusing on learners' engagement, etc. And they were required to be reading research journal articles and collaborative learnings, working on a project. So AICTE has done wonderful work in training the faculty throughout India. Very happy to share that honored to work with 8 different states and 3 union territories, various institutes. Items shown in bold are the multiple presentations at those places. And soft skill as a part of the NEP 2020 implementation. And I'll be introducing that concept very soon. Since 2013, it's an honor to be training students, faculty, and professionals. 1.2 million people have benefited so far on this pro bono effort in soft skill training throughout India. And number of institutes shown here, including BSNL executive team, about 500 executives at IIT BHU, Tata Network Forum, and number of other institutes shown here. As a part of the ICT NEP implementation plan highlights, it suggested the following faculty development programs regarding highest level of leaders, vice chancellor, principal director, to understand sustainable change management. Take a look at the US Baldrige framework for assessing the progress and focus on excellence, and importance of community service. At the mid-level, dean and department head, project leads on project management and risk management, and faculty for soft skill training. And working with a group from Hyderabad area, we have engaged on leadership FDP, project management FDP, and soft skills FDP as well for the faculty. And it was Very well attended and a wonderful exchange of ideas and sharing of knowledge. Okay, we are diving into the last two aspects, the community service for nation building and the soft skills. So are there any questions, Dr. Kumar?
Yes, sir. We have one question from Dr. Rajesh Jain. He is asking for the clarity on the soft skill mentioned during you have mentioned during the presentation.
Yeah,
Especially, Dr. Rajesh wants to know which soft skills you have referred to, and also your suggestions on how that particular soft skills can be effectively developed in the students.
sure. It's a great question, Dr. Jain. So allow me to take a couple of slides on community service, and then we are going to dive into few slides on soft skills for success. So it's all coming up, so bear with me. So one of the idea is if we look at the Gurukul education in the olden age, everyone, whether you are a king or a commoner, they need to work with the guru to do all the chores and give back for the society. So if all the higher education institute students can perform the community service over the weekend, 2 hours per week, back of the envelope calculation shows there'll be a 16 billion hours of project work per year, 2 hours per week, 8 months per year, 250 million students. That's a huge number of community service. What they can do it at each HEIs, they can engage the students with the help of the faculty, create the teams. They go around the community surrounding the HEI, figure out what the needs are in the area of education, healthcare, agriculture, water, sanitation, senior care, etc. Form the teams and carry out the work and understand how the projects are completed and pick up the critical life skills such as communication, leadership, decision making, time management, teamwork, problem solving, risk management, and project management. And by the way, Dr. Jain, these are the soft skills I'm talking about: communication, leadership, decision making, time management, teamwork, problem solving, risk management, and project management. And I'll be sharing a live example from the IIT BHU, my alma mater, where major project was done in 2022, round 3, with the help of AICTE. So I'll share that very shortly. And this will help instilling in students to give back for nation building. Very happy to share that since 1989, I have a pleasure to raise $13 million, 2013 to present, Free Gyandan project on soft skills. 1.2 million people have benefited in India. And through Free Chakshudan, the Blind Foundation for India project, I've been associated as a founder and a president since 89. We have helped over 2 million adults and children with the free eyesight checkups. So small effort can go a long way. So let's dive into the soft skill area. So the importance of soft skill, when you look at this slide, all the latest data show that the executives who are hiring, they are looking for better soft skill than over the hard or technical skills. Last bullet says that the ability to work in a team for a new employee is more desirable than problem solving and quantitative or analytical skills. So here is the question. If the soft skills are important, do we have them in our curricula across HEIs? Answer is obviously no. I've been propagating this, promoting this idea for a long time. Some people are getting it and putting it in the curricula, but it should become uniform across entire India, because unless our students are fully equipped in the right soft skills, they are not going to make good progress in the work they do at the industry level. First of all, they will have a hard time getting a job, and if they do get a job, they won't make a progress and they won't be able to perform at the best. So, the understanding that this is a gap, 2013, I designed and delivered a 12 session program. Six items in blue are the soft skills, six items in red are the part of the quality management area. And that's my discipline of expertise. We did the trial run at the IIT BHU round one, round two with the help of Professor Anil Kumar Agrawal. He is the emeritus professor at Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya. And I'll share some more details on the round three. Overall, 1.2 million students and faculty and professionals have benefited so far. I was visiting India on 18th March 2016. I had a chance with the help of Swamiji, Swami Nikhleshwarananji. He was with Vadodara Center, now he's in Rajkot. He took me to Bisec Studio in Gandhinagar, where Mr. A.J. Shah is now retired Commissioner of Higher Education. He gave me 45 minutes to talk about the critical subject of effective time management. 450 colleges and 500,000 students benefited from that program. Link is shown where the entire program is recorded. So this is the round three of soft skill program, and this will answer the questions Dr. Jain has asked. We focused on six items: leadership, decision making, and by the way, leadership included the communication aspect as well, decision making, effective time management, teamwork, project management, and ultimately career development guidance. So this six program were delivered in 2022 at night time. And we had a collaboration with the ICT and Atal Academy, Alma World, and State of Uttarakhand. So each of these sessions have been recorded, and all six sessions are shown here, captured on a single site. And let's see if I can click it and if we are able to go there. No, it won't allow me here. There's a separate file. I'll try to take you through that. But Dr. Jain, you can use this as a resource where the entire program has been captured.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, motivation for the program, as well as the presentation slides PDF format is shared, and each of the recorded videos are also shared. It's a wonderful resource to leverage. So in terms of effectiveness, we asked three simple questions for the 800 plus students who had signed up for the program. 99.5% overall learning new concept, 98.7%, and applicability in study and work, 96%. Overall, six videos combined because of the AICT's outreach. We have over 92,000 views so far and it's counting. We are honored with DL Shah Quality Award in Silver category by the Quality Council of India on 20th of August 2016 in New Delhi. And I want to close in with some of the key resources we can think of deploying AI, the NEP 2020 implementation. So this is a wonderful book about managing and leading change. John Carter is the father of change management, professor emeritus from the Harvard Business School. I've used this book at several occasions. So if you are doing a project, the charter is very essential. So it's like if you want to build a apartment complex or a building or a big structure, you go to an architect and do the blueprint. So the project charter is a blueprint for your project. Always insist on a project charter which will allow you to plan and take proper action, will focus on fact-based decision making. It'll identify all the stakeholders, focus on vision and mission of the project. It will require you to spell out objectives, deliverables, and milestones, prioritize the risk during the planning stage, and have a communication strategies. And once you sign off on the charter, it will freeze the project scope. So there is no project creep, the scope creep. So always insist on a project charter for every project. Few more slides and we'll be done for the question and answer. So I've used this wonderful book, Identifying and Managing Project Risk, third edition. And to wrap up the recommendations. So NEP 2020 implementation is a transformation journey. It will require a laser-sharp focus on a wartime footing. We need to empower all stakeholders for the successful journey by engaging alumni and industry experts. Harness stakeholders' expertise, experience, knowledge, and wisdom. Provide relevant training. Adopt global best practices. Create execution discipline for the rollout of NEP 2020. Next important item is required art of NEP, accountability from all the institute, HEI's leadership, vice chancellor, director, the principal, their responsibility to engage all the stakeholders, and transparency in terms of the results, sharing the success and failures, share good practices through collaboration, and zero political interference from the government. We end with the pulse of wisdom. According to Nelson Mandela, education is the most powerful weapon which we can use to change the world. The most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Lots of good references. As I mentioned, takeaways from the session. So write down one or two. At this point, I want to thank Dr. Kumar for allowing me to share my thoughts, and I'll stop sharing at this point.
So there is no more question.